What is going on, guys? TD Linkor here, back with yet another video for you today. Today we're going to be talking about the best 10 matches of 2017. The top, the cream of the crop, best of the best. But first, before we get into that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you are new. If you're already a subscriber, go ahead and hit the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button so you never miss an upload and you always get notified whenever we stream. Alright, now before we get into this list of the top 10 matches of 2017, let's go through some honorable mentions. Pretty much any match of Okada that's not going to be on this list already. His match with Tiger Mask W was amazing. His match with Bad Luck Fale, Suzuki Gun, Evil, both of them, the one in the G1 and the one where he defended his title, all amazing matches. His match with Sonata I thought was a very underrated match in the G1. His match with Michael Elgin, he didn't even put on a good match. All of his matches were simply great. Another one would be Kenny Omega versus Trent Beretta. I thought it was Trent Beretta's real first test in the heavyweight division, and I thought he put on probably the best match I've ever seen him put on. Another one would be the Usos versus the New Day at the SummerSlam kickoff show. They were, without a doubt, the best match of the entire night, and they were on the kickoff show. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get into these top 10 lists. There's plenty more matches I could talk about, such as Kota Ibushi versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. That match was amazing. Easily could have made this list. Alright, number 10, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to be thinking once you hear that. That match was not really that great of a match. You know, it was kind of a Brock match, then AJ was just beating up. This match was captivating. It was amazing in the sense that I was on the edge of my seat during the entire match. Now, everybody thought going into this match is just going to be another typical Brock Lesnar match. And when it started off, it kind of was. Because it had to get you kind of thinking like, oh man, they're going to make AJ look like this. And then, bam, they came at you with something different. Because there was a really good portion of this match where Brock was in retreat mode. He was trying to get away from AJ outside the ring, cutting corner. Like, AJ pulled probably the best match out of Brock Lesnar we've seen in 15 years. If you're going to be 100% honest. And that's why I think AJ is definitely top 3 when it comes to the actual best in the world. It comes down to either, him, Omega, Ricochet. You could throw Okada in there. But to be able to pull a match like this out of Brock Lesnar, there's no way anybody can doubt AJ Styles in anything he does. He had Brock selling too. Brock usually does not sell, at least not well. And the way Brock was selling this match, oh my god. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people that really thought for a second there that Brock, oh my god, this guy might actually tap out to AJ Styles. There's a lot of people, AJ had control for a good portion of this match, especially the second half of it. And then the finish to this match, Brock Lesnar literally intercepting AJ out of the air into an F5. It was one of those matches where AJ lost but came out looking stronger than he did when he was going in. Number 9, Lio Rush versus Ricochet, PWG. Now, Ricochet, without a shadow of a doubt, could also be the best in the world. He can tell a story in nearly any kind of fashion you could imagine. He's one of the best storytellers, very underrated when it comes to storytelling. There's nothing he can't do. With that being said, usually when you see Ricochet, you'll never really see him in there with a guy who is probably more athletic than him. In this case, that happened. Lio Rush. an up-and-comer. He's only been doing it for a couple years, maybe 3, and he's understood the business and picked it up so well and so fast. You can say what you want about the spot over in CZW, but this man has a very, very bright future. What it will be with WWE, I don't know. Hopefully he gets his attitude in check. I would really love to see him do big things in the WWE. But this match was the perfect debut in PWG for Lio Rush. And what better of an opponent to go toe to toe with than the face of PWG, Ricochet. This match had anything you want in it. It had storytelling. There was, high spots. There was, some good heat from Ricochet. Not necessarily heel heat. It was the kind of like, I'm the veteran here. I'm gonna own you in this match. And he put that veteran heat on him. And then the finish was amazing. He was emotional. The way Lio Rush was selling, and then no selling. Because that's kind of what he's known for. I thought everything was perfect. The kick out and the big stand up and banging his head in the corner and then just collapsing to his knees. And the way Ricochet was selling that too, it was awesome. If you haven't seen this match, you really need to go see it, or at least watch the highlights. But I really would recommend going to watch the actual match. It's 19 minutes long. It's great. It's amazing. You won't see anything else like it. Number 8, Asuka versus Ember Moon at TakeOver Brooklyn 3, the rematch. Now, their first match they had was pretty good, but it was also very lackluster. And then I think they did a great job between these two matches at building Ember Moon up to make people think, wow, this is really going to be it. This is the woman who's going to beat Asuka. And during the match, they told that story very well. Like, wow, this is it. We've never seen Asuka in a corner like this. Ember Moon is going to do it. And then the biggest shocker of the night, Ember Moon hits the Eclipse, and then Asuka kicks out. And up to this point, they were building the Eclipse like it was one of the most dangerous moves. Like, they had like a work injury on Billie Kay for her selling the Eclipse. Like, she had to go to the doctor and the hospital and all this and that. Like, they were selling this move like it was, like, if she hits this, there's no way this match could continue. But it did. Sure enough, Asuka kicked out, and then in a beautiful transition from a kick it out of a pin, hooked the Asuka lock. Ember Moon had to tap out. In my opinion, this was the best women's match of all year, and it definitely earned a spot in this top 10 list. Number 7, DIY versus the Authors of Pain in a ladder match. Now, I was kind of at a toss between this one and then the triple threat match they had with the Revival. But in the end, I think this one told an amazing story. I thought both matches told an amazing story. Also a good one, to recommend to watch. But this match right here, I really feel like the Authors of Pain at this point in time were sort of coming into their own when it came to, being good in the ring, being solid. And then you're in there with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, two of the best in the world. It's impossible for those two to put on a bad match. There was so many good spots in this match, so much storytelling. The drama, the end of the match was perfect. Because, whenever you see a ladder match, usually when everybody's laying down, and then there's one guy standing at the top, and you literally look around and everybody is still laying down, that's when you know this match is over. He's about to grab the belt. That was not the case in this match. The Authors of Pain, down, laying down, knocked out. DIY with their hands on the belts. And then all of a sudden, the Authors of Pain kick the ladder out from under them while they're still down. Grab them, hit them with a super collider, power bombs, climb to the top, get their belts. This match was awesome. Both teams did an amazing job. The Authors of Pain have improved so much since debuting on TV. And then after the match, it was amazing storytelling to send off for Ciampa since he did get hurt, to set up something when he comes back, probably here really, really soon, turning on Johnny Gargano. But all in all, this match was amazing. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life? Go check it out. Number 6, Kenny Omega versus Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States Championship. Now, this was Kenny Omega's very first defense of this belt, and it was his first match coming out of the G1 Climax 27. Now, after the G1 had ended, Kenny Omega needed to have knee surgery and was supposed to be out for quite a few months. But this match actually took place, I believe it was 2 to 3 weeks after he had knee surgery. And they told a really good story of Juice, being the heart and soul of New Japan, being, the good babyface. Kenny Omega's the heel, obviously, but he's also the one with the target on his leg. They told a beautiful story with Juice, trying to play fair. He had the chance to take Omega's leg very early on, and he just wouldn't do it. And then Omega, would do Omega things. He would do the heel things, the storytelling, the heat, the spot with the double stomp on the table while it was on top of Juice, the superplex off the apron to the floor, the here's Kenny. It was all amazing stuff. And then finally Juice realized, if he didn't do something, he was going to lose. Finally, he went and targeted the knee. He sold it very well, like, damn, I really don't want to be doing this, but I want that belt a lot more than I care about his leg. And it was amazing. The finish saw Kenny Omega delivering a one-winged from the second rope. This is another match where the loser came out looking stronger for what he did for his performance. Oh, I'm sorry, that the table spot, the double stomp on the table, was actually in the Trent Beretta match. My apologies. But everything else, it was amazing. The storytelling, this was Kenny's first defense, and the fact that he put on such an amazing performance at the level that he had been going on throughout the entire G1, throughout the entire year, didn't miss a beat. 2 weeks after knee surgery, when he was supposed to be out for a few months, it was amazing. Really go watch that match, and just wow. Number 5, the Usos versus the New Day at Hell in a Cell. Now, this match was not only at Hell in a Cell, but it was inside Hell in a Cell. It was the first tag team match inside Hell in a Cell in a long time. It wasn't the first, but it was, we hadn't seen it in a while. This match, by far, was the best match of the night at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It was better than the main event, better than any other match on the card. I've never seen two teams work so good together, let alone get that creative in a match. There was so many good things in this match, so much great storytelling. You had the New Day, usually are, fun, loving, playful characters, but towards the end of this feud, they were not the same people. They were getting down and dirty, and it really showed in this match. They had the spot where they took all the kendo sticks and literally barricaded one in the corner of the cell. There was that beautiful shot with the kendo stick going across one of the Usos' face. There was the Uranagi off the apron into a backstabber. Now, you've seen that here on SmackDown, but this was off the apron. And then the finish, when they handcuffed Woods to the post and then started beating him with the kendo sticks, it was savage. It was brutal. It was beautiful. And then the finish, with Woods still handcuffed, trying to fight back, then eating a bunch of super kicks, taking the double loose, and then, the next night they had the Oos Truce. But all in all, this match, definitely one of my personal favorite matches of the year. Go watch it. Number 4, the Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. Now, similar to Lio Rush, Velveteen Dream started around the same time. We saw him on Tough Enough a couple years ago. He was my pick to win it all. Unfortunately, he was the 5th one eliminated, but he was definitely the most successful one out of the entire group. And this was really his first big match. We saw him a couple times when he first started, jobbing out to Austin Aries and a couple other people in some tag matches. But once he found his character, he really started to grow. And it took a while. It took a little over a year for this character to become what it is today. But the build to this match, this entire feud, was amazing. And the fact that you can call this a feud, is beyond me, because it was only one match. but it was still one of the best feuds of the year, and there was only one match. When they introduced this whole thing, with Black speaking out for the first time, to being interrupted by Dream, there was the whole Black doing his sitting down and then Dream falling to his knees. It really told us, they told an amazing story. Now, in this situation, there really wasn't a loser, because Black wanted to put an end to this whole childish thing by beating the Dream. The Dream really just wanted Black to say his name and give him that, recognition, And by the end of the night, both parties won. Black got the win in an amazing match. They told an amazing story during the match. It was very poetic. Very, very poetic. And then after the match, Dream still got what he wanted. When Black did his sit down and then looked over and saw this guy that he, at the end of the day was very impressed with and earned his respect. And he said, "Enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream." So in this case, both parties did win. The story was amazing. The match was amazing. The character work was amazing. And Velveteen Dream's pants were amazing. Kind of a homage to Rick Rude from back in the day, the airbrush pants. Alright. Number 3. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at Brooklyn. Takeover Chicago. Now, this match was kind of like a rematch from the finals in the UK tournament, where Tyler Bate, at the age of 19 years old, became the first ever, the inaugural United Kingdom champion. Now, he had defended the title here and there on NXT live events, over at Progress, all over the UK. But this was his first real big title defense outside the one he had against Mark Andrews in the UK special. And this was definitely the biggest stage he had been on, probably ever. And this match is probably the best WWE match I've seen in several years. And it wasn't even on the main roster. This match had everything you could think of in it. Any kind of spot, any kind of story, it was, I don't even know where to start from this match. There was probably the most memorable moment from this match. Pete Dunne hit a running shooting star on Bate. Bate hit a running shooting star on Dunne. Dunne kicks out. Later on in the match, Bate goes for it again, and Dunne catches him in a triangle in mid-air. It was amazing. It was beautiful. The finish saw Bate, hitting a rally of moves, knocking Dunne to the outside, going for a dive over the top rope to the floor, and Dunne just nails him with a nasty looking forearm, and Bate goes crashing to the floor. It looked painful, and it looked amazing. Throws him back into the ring, hits the bitter end. New United Kingdom champion. That man still has that title. Their follow-up match could have easily just been on this list, but I just didn't want to put, multiple matches of the same people on this list. You'll see that once I get to my number 1. But, all 3 of their matches could have easily been put on this list. So we're going to go ahead and say the Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate trilogy for your number 3 spot. Number 2, Kenny Omega versus Tatsuya Naito in the G1 Finals. Now, in 2016, I thought these two had the best match of the year. And it was probably my favorite match of all time when they went in the finals of the B Block. Now, this time they went in the finals of the entire damn thing. And boy, did they not disappoint. Now, there was a couple spots in this match that kind of looked like botches, but they weren't really botches. They were kind of like those spots that make the crowd really think, oh, something really could have happened here. One of them could really be hurt, just to get them a little bit more emotionally invested into what's going on. Like the pile driver off the table. If you go back and watch it a second time, you'll see Tatsuya positioning the table to fall between the table and the guardrail. Because when you watch it for the first time, it looks like, oh, he just missed the table and fell straight to the floor. But if you go back and watch, he pushes the table to the side because he's planning on going to the floor. It was basically a pile driver off of a table to a floor. It was amazing. And there was the other one where I believe it was Naito hooking Kenny for a superplex off the top, and then Kenny reversed it into a DDT on the ring post. Not the corner, the post, the actual metal post. When I watched this for the first time, I was like, oh my god, someone needs to check on him. But then they went immediately to the next spot, and it was fine. Another spot where I freaked out during this match is when Kenny Omega on the top rope hooked Naito and picked him up for a powerbomb really, really fast, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna fall. But luckily, the two being as good as they are, they pulled off the move into a Frankensteiner off the top rope. Kenny sold it like a fucking champ. It was amazing. This entire match was amazing. We didn't get to see a one-winged angel though. That's the thing. If Kenny hits the one wing, it's always done, except for the one time he hit Okada with it at Dominion where they had the 60-minute draw. Other than that, if he hits it, it's done. So we did not see a one winged in this match. We saw 4 Destinos. We saw a regular one, which Kenny kicked out of. And then we saw Naito reverse a one-winged into a Destino. I marked out so hard when I saw this. And then eventually there was the one where they kind of went back and forth between knee triggers and big moves, and Kenny threw a line and threw a second line, and it got reversed into a Destino. And then Naito picked him up, did one more Destino all the way through, went through the entire motion. Kenny bumped off of it beautifully like he broke his neck, and then Naito went on to win the G1 Climax 27. This match was a beautiful piece of art. Almost as much as our number 1, the Omega versus Okada trilogy. Once again, 3 matches, all could have easily been in the 1, 2, 3 spot on this list, but I wanted to fit more matches on here, so we're going to go ahead and say the trilogy, because at the end of the day, all 3 matches, when you put them side by side, they make one beautiful story. So we'll start with our first match, Wrestling Kingdom 11, January 4th, 2017. This match went 47 minutes long, and it was really my first introduction to New Japan, and I was into it the entire night throughout the entire event, and then when I got to this match, I was really, really excited to see what the main event was going to hold, because all the other matches were so amazing. I was like, wow, those matches were awesome, and we still have the main event to go. And this match, when I saw this match, before I even saw any ratings of it afterwards, I was like, that was the greatest match of all time. Hands down. How are they ever going to top this? And then sure enough, along came Dominion, and how did they top it? They just wrestled for an hour. And what was most impressive in all 3 of these matches, including their one in the G1 Climax, where Omega actually finally got the win over Okada, was that you'll never see them calling spots like when they should be calling spots. You'll never see it. These guys are just so good. They could go, and they don't need to talk. They just know each other that well, and they fill out each other, and it's just, they're yin and yang. There was so many great spots. There was the dive in the first one at Wrestling Kingdom, where Omega went, he ran corner to corner, jumped onto the top rope, moonsaulted off the top rope, out the ring, over the barricade, landed on Okada. One of the most beautiful moves I've ever seen. There was also the backdrop, where, they're in the ring, they're running a spot, and out of nowhere, Okada gives Omega a backdrop over the top rope, goes through a table. I thought he broke his back, because he hit his back on the corner of the stage that the ring was on, and it was just so painful, but he got back up. There was also the dragon suplex off the top rope, where it looked like he killed Okada. It looked like his neck was broke, but luckily he was able to get up and go another 15, 20 minutes. In Dominion, they played it a little bit more safe, but that's not to say that this match was any lower than their first match. Playing it safe probably actually worked, because it allowed them to do different things that they didn't get to do in the first match. Plus they went more time. They went 13 minutes longer in this match, but still there was the moonsault from the top rope to the floor. There was the beautiful moment where Okada would hit a couple rainmakers, he would go for another one, and as he was going for it, Omega just collapsed to his knees, and it was just before he gets hit with the Rainmaker, and it was the story. You know, they brought the entire Bullet Club out. Rhodes came out there, tried to throw in the towel. The Bucks wouldn't let him. You know, then out of nowhere, Omega fires up, gets the comeback, takes the towel, wipes himself off with it, throws it at Okada. You know, goes on to hit some more V triggers, hits the one wing, but then Okada has his foot on the rope. Amazing storytelling. The finish saw Okada giving Omega the Rainmaker, and then struggling to crawl towards the pin to beat the time, but then the time would run out before he could get the actual 3 count. The only thing I did not like about this match is that when you're at the very end, I wasn't as emotionally invested as everybody else probably was, because I thought it would have been better if Kenny would have hit the one winged and then barely, you know, just missed the cover because he ran out of time. Because the way they played it, like Okada hits a Rainmaker with about 40 seconds left, and then takes 40 seconds to crawl towards the pin. Now, during the whole entire 40 seconds, I'm thinking like, well, it really doesn't matter, because if time limit, you know, runs out, he's still champion. If he makes the cover, he gets the 3 count, he's still champion. It doesn't matter either way, you know, he's walking out champion. If it would have been Omega, it would have been different for me, because like, oh my god, he just hit the one wing, he's down, there's only 40 seconds left in the match. If he makes it, he'll become the new champion. If he doesn't, Okada keeps the belt. Like, that would have been a more emotional investment for me. And then their third match in the G1 was, you know, Okada was coming off the 2 brutal matches. The first time he had lost a singles match in probably over a year to Evil, and then right after that, the 30-minute draw with Suzuki. You know, they were both of those men were really working his neck. So Omega really targeted the neck. He was doing neck chops. They looked painful. The story was amazing. You know, it was really fast paced, because Omega, you know, their previous matches, they had gone a total combined hour and 47 minutes. And there's only, you know, 30-minute time limits in the G1. So Omega was not only, you know, struggling, you know, not only did he have to beat Okada to get to the finals of the G1, he had to do it under 30 minutes. But luckily, Okada had the neck injury, so Kenny was working off of that. You know, this entire match, you know, was straight storytelling, and at its finest. It was amazing. All 3 of these matches were amazing. Kenny finally was able to get the win over Okada, and he did it in under 30 minutes. I really, really hope these 2 get to go at it one more time for that heavyweight championship. I really want to see that belt on Omega, but it probably won't be Omega versus Okada when Omega gets that belt. I don't know. We'll see this 4th here in a couple days at Wrestling Kingdom. But that's our top 10 list for the day. Let me know in the comments below what you thought the top 10 matches were of the year. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button again. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.